So I am Julia Daniel. I use she, they pronouns. I'm the assistant director of SURJ, and I'm filling in tonight for Kelly Sue, who's the director of Southern Crossroads. I'm a white woman with blonde hair. I'm wearing a jean jacket and I have a white wall behind me. I was trained as an organizer in Florida, working for building working class power, and I believe that all Southerners deserve to have their needs met, and that working class and poor white people, especially in the South, have a tremendous amount to gain from us being able to build a powerful movement for racial justice that is multiracial and cross-class. At Southern Crossroads, we engage poor and working class communities around issues that matter to their lives so that we can win material changes and also undermine the power of the far right and the greedy corporations who are trying to organize in those communities for their own gain. So for example, after the Unite the Right rally in Charlottesville in 2017, those white supremacists then decided to go to Shelbyville, Tennessee. And we decided that we were going to stand up and fight them and confront them, not literally actually physically fight them, but confront what they were trying to do in the communities where we were organizing. And in Shelbyville, Tennessee, we continue to do that work. So 6 years later, in Bedford County, where Shelbyville is, the Bedford County Listening Project now has a member who has been elected to City Council on an anti-Klan and tenants' rights platform. We have won huge changes to tenants' rules. We've won a renters committee that's made up of low-income renters to advise the City Council, and we continue to win renters' rights. And what's happening in Bedford County is just one example of how we are out organizing the right in our communities. So in Southern majority white communities where the Klan is literally putting up flyers. We're growing this work beyond Shelbyville as well. So we're expanding it into Tennessee and into Georgia. So in Tennessee, we're launching a statewide initiative that is called Tennessee for State Homes. And that project is going to expand the renters' work in majority white rural communities, organizing tenants for better tenants' rights. So for that work, just last week, we knocked on over 500 doors in 10 different housing complexes. And we talked to people who are renters about the issues that they're facing, oftentimes with their landlords. We've also been running phone banks across the state. So for the last couple of months, we've contacted 2,000 people, and we've had 500 renters in rural Tennessee take action with us. In addition to the work that we're expanding in Tennessee, we're really growing up and out in Georgia. So we're focusing on rural hospital closures in majority white communities in Georgia. And there we're calling into some very red districts as well as some blue districts so that we can have conversations with people about what their experiences with healthcare and hospital closures are, as we know that's a huge issue in Georgia. In order to do that, we have deep conversations with people, and we really listen to understand how our members are making sense of what's going on in their lives, and then being able to invite them to join and take action and change the things that they know they need to change. So we talk to people about what they're seeing in their lives and then invite them into this multiracial working class coalition that will fight for better healthcare across the entire state. And we do this because we know it blocks the far right from being able to radicalize in our communities. And it also honors the dignity of our members and our people. So we meet our people where they're at, we talk to them about what's going on in their lives, and then we invite them into projects where they are able to change their own communities, be part of a multiracial movement, and stand in their full dignity and fight for what they believe. And so we are building our base and we are going to win. And I know y'all probably saw last month, there was 3 Democratic legislators who were expelled from the Tennessee State House a few months ago. When I saw that, I was really reminded that we need a lot more of us on the side of justice. So we can see in examples like this, and then where I was fighting in Florida, authoritarians are really trying to take power. And I know that rural white Southerners and working class and poor people will fight like hell against authoritarians when we organize and stand together. They have the most to win, and if we really build power, we can stop the far right from recruiting and really build the power we need to win the changes that we all deserve. So one of the many really important ways to build political power for working people is by investing in organizing projects across the South. So the work that we're doing in rural Tennessee, the work that you just heard about in Kentucky, and the work in Georgia is going to welcome more and more people in. So I'm going to pass it to Judy, who's one of our members, and is going to tell us about what being a member of Tennessee for State Homes and an organizer there has meant to her.
Hi, I'm Judy, and I'm in Columbia, Tennessee. I want to share with you how I got involved in Tennessee for Safe Homes. When I retired, I decided I wanted to go back to something that had meaning for me. I worked at Walgreens for 10 years. Before that, I was a case manager helping people. I've never been paid much. I was actually evicted when my daughter was 18 years old. I was a single parent. I also watched the people I was working with struggle with housing. When I moved to Columbia, I had a first place. It was near work. I didn't really have kitchen privileges. It was upstairs and had really shaky stairs. After I moved in, I found out how filthy it was, that not everything worked. I was told that I could only use the electricity from one lamp because otherwise the electricity would go out. I was paying $250 a week for that privilege. My bathroom sink broke, so I was having to wash dishes in the bathtub. Every time I needed something fixed, my landlord told me that she couldn't afford it or she couldn't get anyone to come out and do the fixing. But I needed to stay there because I didn't have a car at that time and home was walking distance to work. Eventually, my coworkers told me that I couldn't stay there and they helped me find another place. I stayed in this other place for 10 years. It seemed pleasant enough at first, but it did have some issues. Little things wrong with it, and my landlord said she would fix those things. She regularly raised the rent, and she never fixed anything. This continued through two other landlords, but the rent kept going up. It got worse as I lived there. I looked for better housing, eventually moved across the street, but it has happened again. I'm paying $900 a month. My landlord is always broke and says she can't fix things. So we're working on negotiating our way through because things really do need fixing. So I'm still struggling with this. I realized at a certain point this is happening for everybody, and that has helped me. It's not about my shame. It's usually the landlords and developers' shame, not mine. As I mentioned, I'm retiring and I'm wanting something to do during my retirement years. I heard from Tennessee for Safe Homes in a conversation with Stephanie. She was wonderful. She kept up with me and we clicked. It has been an education. I've learned about the systemic problems. I spoke in Washington at a congressional briefing with Homes Guarantee. I love door knocking. I love all the things I do here. I'm fighting the battle for myself and for all renters because renters are really screwed. It's a race issue. It's a class issue. It's an economic issue. It's so many things in one. We're pushing hard to get Tennessee for Safe Homes to expand. We're doing phone banking. We're doing renter surveys, asking people what their situation is. It tells us how we're more alike than we are different. Every time I speak to someone, it's a story. The powers that be will not listen to us until we have lots of backup to what we're saying. So that's my goal, to talk to more people and hear more stories. I was kind of an activist when I was a kid. I remember my activism started when MLK died. I was 9 when I heard about his death on the radio, and I was devastated. As I became a teenager and then an adult, I did some anti-war protests and worked for George McGovern's campaign. I started working in case management and social services as part of wanting to make things better. It's always been a part of me. What I'm doing is going back to my roots. My commitment to it is really firm. It makes me happy to be a part of the effort. I would like to bring some of my energy also to SURJ in my future. We are the solution.